guess I'll get it to you later. Seriously. Hey, hi, it's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with the Fingerdoo review of RuPaul's Drag Race España, Season 2, Episode 8. 8! And we're down to 5 queens already. Not only has this season of Drag Race España been fabulous to watch, but they are getting to it, eh? I mean, when they say lip sync a vida o muerte, they mean it. This is what a season with no double chantés looks like. Remember? Memories like the car. Before we get started, I've got my Tipperdoo boyfriend Vito to thank. Love you, Vito. And a Redbubble model to show off. Look at that. This is Jen Val. Well, her cat anyway. Her cat's name is number 4, a.k.a. Mr. Beans, a.k.a. Fudgesicle. And there, just in the corner, is Jen, modeling Sweet Marie by Lar de Souza in the tank top version. If you want to be a Redbubble model, just tag me in a picture of you in your Wilma merch. The links for leaving a Tipperdoo and my Redbubble store are down below in the description box. I also want to say thank you to Jenna, who sent me these gorgeous earrings. They're so gorgeous. I don't know what I did to deserve them. They're clip-ons, which I love, even though I have pierced ears. I love a clip-on, I'm just going to say. So thank you, Jenna. You're a doll. Now, let's get to it. Jorge, drink me. Ooh, my hurricane glass. I love a hurricane glass. Pucker me up, Jorge. Delish. Seriously. Once summer's over, though, I think we might need to think up a new drink. I'm just going to say. Okay, so we started this episode off with Marina singing her own praises about how, now that she sent Drag Sethless home, she was some sort of lip sync assassin. Personally, I just think Sethless did too little too late, but that's just my opinion. It's not like I'm a judge or anything. Of course, the queens bid Drag Sethless a fond farewell. Well, short of Marina, there wasn't anyone who didn't seem to like her, although Marina did show Sethless respect with some kind words before wiping her mirror message away. Just saying. Jirishi congratulated Marina on her lip sync win, but it seemed that Marina wasn't in too much of a hurry to be chummy with her. Venedita had had enough with being a blonde and was ready to dye her beard back, and Estrella and Sharon congratulated themselves on their win. Because nobody else had. Just gonna say. Well, that must have been the last straw for Marina, because she finally shared an opinion. She told Estrella to mix it up next time. Well, this got all the queens chiming in on who's been working with who, and clearly there's only so much Sharon to go around. It's probably not the first time Sharon's heard that. And with one more Raphael dance break, the queens got out of drag. The next day, the queens likened themselves to the iconic group of girls in Lavigno's Circle of Friends, or the Spice Girls. It really depended on where in the conversation you landed. You know, that comparison makes the Spice Girls make more sense to me. Just me? Jirishi was finally admitting that she was hurt that the Maxi Challenge feedback seemed to be about her drag, personally. But Estrella wasn't buying it. Estrella just sees Jirishi as a poop poker and tries to manipulate the other queens. That is when she isn't fighting with them. Just saying. I have to say, I liked Marina a little more when she said to Jirishi that she took it personally because she wanted to take it personally. Way to be zen, Marina. Seriously. Thank goodness Supreme dropped by in yet another stunning suit with this week's mini challenge, and it involved puppets, because everybody loves puppets until they're possessed by the devil and fighting you for your soul. Actually, it seems like in Spain, everybody loves putting their hand inside, which can be a little vivid for an unsuspecting tourist. No wonder they have to advertise, I'm just saying. Yes, no, I'm aware they meant puppets. Thank you. God, it's been a while since we had this mini challenge, eh? I missed it. Just like the reading challenge, this challenge has the queens throwing shade, but this time they're throwing it at one of the other queens' puppets. Personally, I like the term therapy dolls. Just show me on the doll is all I'm saying. One by one, the queens went up to the Gloria and took whatever puppet production gave them. How else do you explain Marina getting Girigi? Seriously. As for the rest of the queens, Venedita got Marina, Sharon got Estrella, Estrella got Sharon, and Girigi got Venedita Von Dash. After a 10-minute pretty that puppet up period, the queens were ready to throw some shade in the puppet theater. Just like the reading challenge, you're either good at this or you're not, and more than a couple of the queens were not, I'm just going to say. They were struggling. Venedita went first with her Marina puppet, and the only thing she really could make fun of where Marina was concerned was her spinning, which she called the helicopter attack, and her flatulence. I love that Venedita said she doesn't do comedy in her act, but does that mean she's never been funny in life? Seriously, these queens need to stop compartmentalizing. Just be yourself, seriously. That said, Venedita wasn't the funniest queen, but she certainly wasn't the worst, I'm just gonna say. Girigi went next and had trouble because, well, she had Venedita's puppet and she's actually friends with her. Well, if you can't read your friends the house down boots, they're not really your friends, I'm just going to say. Although Girigi didn't do too well, I was impressed with how much her puppet actually looked like Venedita. It wasn't worth anything, but I was impressed. Sharon was next, and she was hilarious before she even brought her Estrella puppet out. Sharon talking to the puppet while it was still off stage was funnier than anything the other two queens did so far. So, when Puppet Estrella finally made her appearance dressed as Divine, the contest was over for me. Here's to Sharon. Well done, so funny. Estrella was next with her Sharon puppet, and it was night and day, the difference between them. Sharon was hilarious. Estrella was loud. And the less the other queens laughed, the louder she got. Too bad that wasn't the challenge. Marina was last with her Girigi puppet, and I don't think she did too badly. She had the crotch phone, she had Girigi's purr down, but when the rubber hits the road, she just wasn't that funny. What is it with Marina? So, when the mini challenge was over, it was no surprise to me that Sharon was the winner. And then it was time for the main challenge, a roast. I have to say, I thought it was interesting to hear Sharon say that roasts are not a big part of Spanish culture. So, I was immediately worried for all the queens, not just Marina. And who was going to be the subject of the roast, you ask? Well, the top 5 queens from last season, that's who, because apparently the judges are cowards, I'm just saying. And then Davima Nuri, Poopy Poison, Sagittaria, Killer Queen, and Carmen Farala entered the workroom. Not only were they going to be the subjects of the roast, but they were also there to share some insights from their experience from doing the roast their season. Remember, Carmen won that roast, and, well, Davima sashayed away. I'm just saying. Right away, the queens broke off into pairs with one of last season's top 5. Venedita and Sagittaria paired off, and Sagittaria gave some insights as to what does and doesn't set the other queens off. But, to be honest, I didn't find her advice that helpful. Of course, Sharon picked Carmen Farala to get some advice from because, after all, Carmen did win her roast challenge. Carmen's best advice was with the lineup. She said second is the best place to go because win, lose, or draw, that first spot is warming the audience up. Well, she's not wrong. In the case of Estrella Extravaganza, Poopy Poison couldn't wait to team up with her even if she did call her Venus. Estrella was still worried, though. Both she and Poopy were large, loud personalities, and, well, that can sometimes be a curse with a comedy challenge. It certainly didn't help Poopy during her roast, I'm just going to say. With Marina and Davima, it was a little of the dull leading the dull, but that didn't stop Davima from giving Marina some good insights. Girigi had more of a theme for her roast, and Killer Queen was more than there for it. Although more theatrical, Girigi's idea to treat it like a family reunion wasn't the worst idea I've ever heard. Killer didn't dissuade her at any rate. And then it was time to discuss the roast's running order. Surprisingly, Marina wanted to go first, which is why Sharon told her she was going last. Well, Everyone was gagged. No one could believe this attitude, especially from Sharon. Of course, Sharon was only yanking Marina's chain and let her go first, but still, I thought that was pretty mean of Sharon, seriously. As the queens got ready for the runway and the roast, Venedita and Shiriji had a lovely conversation about Shiriji's grandmother and how supportive she was. She even paid for Shiriji's first voice and dance classes. But, well, she had passed away super suddenly due to COVID. As sad as her passing was for Shiriji, it gave Shiriji the strength to be her true self, and Venedita, for one, was glad she did. Here's to Shiriji and her grandmother, seriously. And then it was time to head to the main stage, where Supreme was looking beyond gorgeous. I loved everything about this look. And joining Los Javis and Anna Locking at the judges' table this week was actress and comedian Annabelle Alonso. And can I just say, as beautiful as everyone looked tonight, I want to send a shout out to whomever is styling Anna Locking. Every week she looks like she's having the best time ever. Seriously. I just find her so charming. Just me. And then it was time for the roast. With last season's top 5 sitting at the side of the stage, one by one, the queens took to the podium to let her rip. Marina was first, and I don't think anyone was ready for what happened next. Personally, I would have bet money that Marina would have struggled at best. And I would have lost that bet. She killed it. Her best line was that Sagittaria had a personality that stood out on the side of milk cartons. Missing. Hilarious. Was it that we weren't expecting anything from Marina at all that made what she did stand out so much? Or was she actually funny? Who cares? I thought she did a great job and certainly didn't make it easy for whoever was following her. Actually, Sharon followed her, so there was very little worry. As expected, Sharon killed it. Her jokes were silent killers. Every punchline and insult landed. Her facial expressions were amazing, implying Sagittaria was stupid and Carmen was too orange were hilarious. Here's to Sharon. Well done. Just saying. I'm not sure why Estrella did an agent character right after she played Paquita Salas on Snatch Game. It's not that Estrella didn't have her moments, but she talked so loudly and quickly that I was exhausted before she was even done. To be honest, I don't think what Estrella was saying was as funny as how she was saying it. Her funniest moment was impersonating Davima's laugh. Still, she wasn't the worst. You know who was the worst? Poor Venedita Von Dash. Bless her pointed head. It's not for her lack of trying. She was full of energy and stuck to her material, such as it was, regardless of how little people were responding. But this challenge wasn't about energy. It was about being funny, and poor Venedita was failing. Seriously. Shiriji, bless her, wasn't much better, but still, she got more laughs than Venedita. In fact, she seemed to get at least one good zinger per queen. I just found her delivery a little lackluster. You need to sparkle, Neely! Sparkle! And then it was time for the runway. Category is Spanish heroines. And again, I think that what production said on filming day and what they told the queens to bring were two different things, because I got a lot of confusion in this runway. I'm just going to be honest. Shiriji was first in a stunning crocheted bodysuit. Her Spanish heroine were the women who lost their lives during the Franco regime, including the 13 women killed in a mass shooting by firing squad known as La Trece Rosa, the 13 Roses. The fact that parts of this jumpsuit contain actual pieces of Shiriji's grandmother's own crocheting was a fabulous touch, and one of the reasons why I gave this look a Fingerdoo. Seriously. It took me a minute or two to see what was going on with Marina's runway, but then when she lifted her arms up, I clutched pearls. Just the imagery of those arms arched up towards that heart on her head was fabulous. And then her saying that the look was in honor of trans women made it even more impressive. Plus, the names of trans people printed onto the pants really was a brilliant touch, and definitely one of the reasons I gave this look a Fingerdoo too. It was a great night for Marina, I'm just going to say it. Estrella's superheroes seemed to be print media, or some such thing. It really wasn't very clear, but I loved the look and what it represented, so I gave Estrella a Fingerdoo as well. Seriously. Sharon's Spanish heroine was housewives, or at least the housewives who do everything. I really wasn't paying attention. I thought she was so cute. Plus, I'm a sucker for props, so I gave her a Fingerdoo. I absolutely love Venedita Von Dash's runway, not just because it was fun to look at, but it also asks the question, where are all the female artists? Brilliant! During the judges' critiques, Anna Locking got emotional over Juriji's backstory about her runway. Supreme asked Juriji how she felt about the roast, and Juriji admitted that she was pooping her pampers. This surprised Annabelle Alonso, who thought she came off very calm. Los Javi were impressed with how underhanded Juriji's insults were. I also thought it was cute that they thought it was an act. Supreme said it best when she told Marina that she was the surprise of the evening. She thought Marina would struggle and yet was one of the best of the night. Ambrosi said this was the first time he'd been excited by Marina's runway and called her a true artist, while Annabelle Alonso thought her idea to create a character to deliver the roast was brilliant. And Calvo kept dabbing away his tears. Bless. It's very emotional. Estrella was still clearly a fave of the judges. Anna Locking was in love with her runway on several levels, but Calvo did say she talked too fast during the roast and made it hard to keep up. Annabelle Alonso didn't agree and went off on some fast-talking Argentinian comedian tangent, which is when I said, in the theater of my mind, he was Argentinian. You really didn't need to add fast talking, which confused me because I don't actually know any Argentinians. What? It was clear that Sharon was in the top for this week too. All the judges were impressed, but I thought Calvo made a good point. She was so good, it came off as rehearsed, and he wished she'd stepped out of her comfort zone. Ambrosi, on the other hand, said he loved this version of Sharon. Did Los Javis just disagree with each other? Fight! Fight! As for Venedita, Venedita. They loved her runway, even if they didn't get the message about female artists in history. But it was clear that it was awkward for them to watch her struggle through that roast, bless her. So, when the judges had deliberated, I don't think anyone was surprised to hear Supreme announce that Marina was this week's winner. Here's to Marina, first win of the season. Good for her. Sadly, though, it was Venedita and Juriji in the bottom. This was a fabulous lip sync. There, I said it. They both had some fun reveals. Venedita practically stepped out of her clothes, showing off some red silk ginge, and Juriji's wig change was brilliant. But then, when they started performing together, well, at first, I thought they were going to have to cut the cameras because it got a little racy, if you ask me. But they cooled it down enough for me to predict that this might be the only double chante of the season. But I was wrong. Venedita won the lip sync, and it was Juriji who had to sashay away, bless her. So, what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Were the right two in the bottom? Did the right queen go home? Next week is the semifinal. Who do you predict will be the next queen to go? All we can do is tune in to Drag Race España next week to see how it all plays out. And when you're done, you come on back and see me so you and I can compare notes. Till next time, miss me. Come on, seriously, Jorge. So much drama. Who'd have thought Marina would have just turned it around like that? Good for her. I don't know if she has what it takes to win, but I'm glad she had a good winning moment on the show. I think she's a very talented artistic person. And she's really, it's hard in a environment like that where you're up against personalities and you know, most people when they see somebody performing on stage, you go, oh, they're fun, think they're like that off stage. And then you meet them and they're really like a different person, and understandably, and then they're like, oh, I thought they'd be different. I think Marina's like that. I think Marina is a powerful and energetic performer, but I really think that she's very quiet and introverted off stage, and that can be a bit of a splash of cold water on somebody. I'm just saying. I'm a demure flower too. I said I want a your flower!